Howdy, y'all, and welcome back to the Sam Show. I'm so excited to have you guys here with me. Of course, per usual, I love to catch up with my besties. I love to yap. I love to talk. So this isn't a perfect excuse for me to do so. But today we're going to talk about my journey as a real estate agent and a new real estate agent. So I want to talk about the transition it took for me to come from one self-employment career to another. Old habits I noticed were no longer going to serve me. All the feelings and emotions I was going through, and we'll date it back to even how taking the test, how I felt, and any advice that I can offer you guys and advice that has been given to me along the way. Because if you're thinking about getting your real estate license, I'm sure the first thing you hear from everybody that knows a realtor or knows somebody that's doing it, that test is hard. That test is hard. Well, anything worth achieving in life is hard. Okay? And if I can break it down for you when it comes to testing, I'm not a great test taker. My mom actually was so concerned for me during the test time, wondering how well I was going to do and if I could submit for like special testing since I have ADHD and I'm distracted and I'm blah, blah, blah. Like, not a great test taker. So she was worried for me. I'm also not a great studier. I wasn't a really academic scholar. I got through school. I got the degree. I got what I needed. Did I get a 4.0 GPA? Absolutely not. Did I even really care to put in the effort one? No, absolutely not. So as somebody who suffers with dyslexia, ADHD, has different learning abilities and habits, and you could say testing phobia, which I don't think I have anymore. I'm like totally cool, calm, cool, collected in testing situations. It was really just the distraction, or I would read things too fast and I learned, I need to read this 3 times front to back to understand what it is they're asking me. So the biggest things that helped me preparing for my real estate exam, flashcards, rinse and repeat. And I'm not talking about punching in the flashcards only to Quizlet, but handwriting flashcards. You retain 40% of what you write. Then, when I'm going through my flashcards, I'm verbalizing it out loud. I'm hearing myself say it in a repetitive nature where I get to hear it off my tongue and I can put key words together with key answers. Most importantly, though, the biggest thing is knowing your vocabulary. Their entire goal behind the test is to trick you, is to take the same word that means 2 different things in different scenarios and have you associate it and mix it around and blah, blah, blah. So you want to make sure that you know your vocabulary. So say this one word means something in this single family residential scenario, but it means something completely different when dealing with raw land. So you want to make sure you know what that word means when it applies to a certain situation. That is what saved me. On my Texas real estate exam, I failed it the first time by 1 point. So I was like, definitely a little discouraged, some tears. Don't get discouraged. That was one thing that I just felt really discouraged. I hold myself to such a high standard, like I have to pass it the first time. Well, then I started talking to people and they're like, yeah, I took it 3 times. Yeah, I took it 6 times. Yeah, I took it such and such times. And I was like, oh, so that definitely made me feel better that like, hey, I'm not alone. This is actually a hard test. And to only fail it by 1 point the first time, pretty good. Pretty good. So then I went back, studied for 2 days. I took it as soon as I could the next day so I would retain all the information. Like, I definitely do not recommend waiting. Book that next test, go grind, go study, and knock it out. And I passed. And I passed the second time. Same with my Arizona real estate license. I passed the second time. I failed the first time. Cheers, of course, just because I was like, I did it for the first time. Texas is so hard. And by the second time of the Arizona test, I passed with flying colors. And most importantly, I went through flashcards on Quizlet. And while I was driving, another great thing, while I was driving, I'd put my flashcards on Quizlet. I just let Quizlet run through them. So no music, no podcast, but Quizlet flashcards, just going through it. So those are the top things that helped me the most. It's also like, don't put so much pressure on yourself. It's fine. I promise. We're literally like not meant to be test takers, and the whole grade system thing and the schooling education, like it's a whack, right? So to be able to pass that test, like anybody can pass that test if you study. You will hear once you get into the real estate field, like there are so many dummy real estate agents because there's such good pre-exam prep courses that prepare you for the test, that get dummy real estate agents to pass the test, and then they actually get on the field and they're like, they're actually a dummy real estate agent. So it's really important to just know your vocabulary, study, and don't get discouraged. So once I got my Texas real estate license in 2023, I hadn't done anything with it. I was still moving around trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I moved back to Texas in April for a little bit. I hung my license with my aunt. I had 2 listings of raw land, undeveloped, and I learned she sat through with me on contracts, how to list, MLS, everything like that. But then I still was just not satisfied with moving back to Texas. I packed up my stuff and I hit the road. I hit the road for the summer. My dad was really sick, so I did not have anything tying me down during that year of my life where my dad was really sick, because I wanted to prioritize him, but also to balance watching my dad go through this like horrible journey. I also took time for myself because I also got out of a really bad relationship, and there was just a lot going on for me. So I settled in Arizona. Wild to hear say that I settled. I'm like, what? So I settled in Arizona, October of 24. Yeah, October 24. Y'all, October 24. That's crazy. It's 2026. This means it was 2 years, almost 2 years ago. Wow, we've been here that long. Man, I just remember being like, wow, it's only been a month. I feel like I've done so much. But that's because as soon as I moved here, 2 days later, when I got my skydiving cert. So that's probably why I felt that way. I was just like on the high of life. But I'm in Arizona. There's still a lot of unsettled things with my dad's estate, my dad's death. I have family back home. We have horses that I love. We just have like a lot going on. And I was still trying to figure out life for me. Like, what do I want to do? I stepped away from content creation, which was where I put all of my energy for 5 years. Like, that's what I was doing. Like, I self-employed myself through content creation as a Western fashion influencer and content creator, more say. And I did that for 5 years straight. And so my working style, self-employment style, is way different than what it was going to look like for me in real estate, because I stepped into real estate and I was like, whoa, I got a reality check. I was like, these practices do not work for me anymore. You know, when I was in content creation, a lot of the transactions that took over email, I would pitch through DMs, or I would pitch through an email if I could find an email. Then we would carry the conversation over to email. We would talk logistics, deliverables, pay, then product would get shipped. I would follow through with everything I needed to follow through with. I would then email them the link with the deliverables, and that was it. That was it. It was really transactional. It was short-term contracts. And so there was really no calendar keeping, scheduling, multiple things going on. I was able to like leisurely do this. And so fast forward, April of 2025 is when I was like, okay, I had already applied. I was in Arizona. I applied for a few jobs. Things like just weren't lining up. I wasn't getting the job. I was going through multiple interviews, and I like came to terms with the fact that I was gonna have to get a 9-to-5 again. And I was trying to pursue the 9-to-5 thing, and then finally it was like, it's not working out. Like I'm just like, it's not happening. So I'm gonna get my Arizona real estate license. Since I already have my Texas real estate license, I did not have to take the national test again. So that was a huge bonus. I just had to take a 6-hour contract course through the Arizona State of Real Estate. And once I took that 6-hour contract course, I was eligible to test. So then I tested for my Arizona real estate license, and in April, I got it. And during this time, I was already attending one of Steve Valentine's Friday meetups at the garage, which was a really awesome place to be. The conversation that takes place there is just super innovational. It's super, how can we help the client? It's just a really collaborative, awesome space that I loved being in. And I wasn't licensed at the time when I was sitting in on it, but Steve was just super kind to like open up his doors to me. And I really, really appreciated that. And I just knew that like, okay, like, yes, like I want to do something with this. Like I want to be in the people business, but in the people business where there is an opportunity to make a career and a brand for myself again, just doing something a lot more like logistical. You know, it gets a little serious, all these laws, everybody's gonna sue you in the real estate industry. Like that's being a real estate agent is also being risk management. 100%. So then I test, I pass, I get my license, and life is still lifing. I still just feel really occupied with a lot of things that were happening in my personal life, and I'm somebody that if I'm going to jump into something, I'm going to give it 110%. So if I cannot commit to it and give it 110%, I do not engage in it. I do not do it. I don't take it on. I don't entertain it. Although I'm a yes girl, I love to say yes to things, but I will say like yes to like, oh, hey, do you want to go do this? And it's like, we go do it for a day. It's not like a career commitment. And so I set it out. And finally, I felt like I had a breath of fresh air. I was like, yep, let's do it. I'm ready to do it. So I hang my license with a brokerage out in Scottsdale at the end of October. And I'm also in a little sticky situation. Once again, things are just happening. I decided to sell my truck, so I didn't have any wheels. I sold my truck to my boss. He was kind enough to buy it for me, and I only have my motorcycle left. So think October, Arizona, 202, from QC to Scottsdale, hour every day. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Really wasn't vibing or loving with it. And as much as I thought things had stopped pulling me away, they were still requiring attention from me. So I struggled for like the first month of being with this brokerage, because this brokerage, they offer a mentorship program. And when their mentorship program, it is mandatory to be there for Tuesday meetings in person. And so the first couple Tuesdays, I had trouble with my phone and my T-Mobile was crashing. I was like, why did I even switch to T-Mobile? Oh, I was convinced that it was so much better, and they lied to me. Verizon, baby. So I switched over to Verizon that day, and I was unable to make Tuesday meeting. I was able to make another Tuesday meeting, and my mentor was starting to get a little frustrated with me. She's like, hey, dude, like, you need to be here on Tuesdays. It's mandatory, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yes. I'm like, you were so right. Like, you were right. We'll not miss another Tuesday. I take ownership. Like, so sorry. And finally, I was like, after moments of trying to commuting, on my motorcycle daily, where I was constantly worried about every driver in front of me. So here's a motorcycle tip: drive offensively, not defensively. Drive offensively, aggressively, stay in front of the flow of traffic, know your next move, and keep your head on a swivel. And yeah, so like that was a big painful adjustment, because I'm in a shared workspace where I don't technically have coworkers, but there's other people in a shared office with me that I can lean on, conversate with, but also want to be able to help them if they need help, and they can rely on me to help them if they need help. So it was a big transition for me to, one, I need to show up to an office. I need to be there for a certain time, and I need to sit in on a team meeting. It's really, as a new agent, treating it like a physical 9-to-5. As a social media content creator, I treated it like a 9-to-5, but I'm 100% remote. I do not have to show up to a place, show face, be present. I get to do my job wherever I want, whenever I want. But as a new real estate agent, I was like, well, this is a crazy transition. Like, I also knew that I wanted to be in the office every single day, because I want to absorb as much energy and conversation and everything that's going on and happening in the office. So I really do recommend, if you're a new agent, picking an office, one that's close to you. Says, although you think drive time in the beginning is not really gonna play a factor, you'd be surprised. After every single day, it definitely plays a factor, and at least for me, because I daily drive an F-250, and I will never be mad about that, but it does get expensive. And so being in the office was a huge transition for me, and they would send out invites through Gmail, and I was just missing them, dude. I like flat out was missing them. I was like, what? We have a meeting today. Oh my goodness. And it just like, I was not seeing it. And I was getting so many emails, y'all. So finally we had a meeting on how to help to get me organized, where I'm no longer missing these meetings. I can be present and I can take control of my schedule. Like I said, y'all, I've never never use Google Calendar. I'm 26 years old, never used Google Calendar until 2 months ago. And now Google Calendar is my bestie. I have a skylight that sits on my counter in my kitchen. I love that thing. I look at it every day. Google Calendar is the best. Like, it's to the point where I even asked my boyfriend, like, send me a calendar invite, because if it's not on my calendar, boo, you can't expect me to be there because other things might be happening. And so knowing your organization skills and how to stay organized, if you are not somebody that is an organized person. If you are somebody that's organized, okay, good for you. Not all of us are like that. I wish I had that trait. So just tune out of this part. But really getting into the habit of doing this Google Calendar invites, color coding, breaking them down, like this is personal, this is real estate, this is content, this is wellness, this is meetings, this is clients, like color tabs, and then setting your reminders and just Google Calendaring the heck out of it. And then email. My emails are stacking up, they're piling up. I'm having 10, 20, 30 emails come in a day, and I'm like, I just can't see all these. So by the end of the night, I make sure I go through my email. And once again, I also have folders. So if I'm working with a client, I name the folder, their last name and where they're looking. And then if I need any subfolders underneath that, I can do that. And whatever folders that are applicable to your situation, create those folders. And then every night, go in and either delete, move it to a folder, but get that inbox number to 0. We want that inbox number to 0. That way you're keeping track of your emails and you're not missing anything, because when you go to close up escrow or you're dealing with a title company, insurance company inspection, you are on time limits and crunches. Like, you're going to need to be on top of things. When that notification comes in, you better be answering it. So I think it's really, really important to just have that cleared out. So every day is a fresh day in the inbox, and everything that you're seeing is coming for you within those 24 hours. So I just think that's really important. That's something that's personally helped me as somebody who has just flown by the seat of her pants, ADD, whatever you want to call it. I've just done things my way forever. And that's just no longer going to serve me. Like, doing things my way, like, is not going to serve me in the type of business that I want to lead in. Like, I want to lead in a real estate service business that is on top of things, that has an answer, that can get you a question any minute, that can go through and find the email and boom, I have it for you. Like, I always want to have an answer for somebody and be able to offer that quick turnaround service. So in order to do that, I need to be organized. It's like just simple as that. Like, I can't. And you kind of just feel like shit about yourself when, like, you're chasing your tail and chaos is happening. And there's a different type of, like, I thrive in chaos. Okay, I thrive in high pressure situations. I thrive in chaos. I figure stuff out. But when chaos is chasing your inbox, chasing client conversations, not answering the phone, being late, putting on the wrong shoe, like, just all of the stuff that could be controlled by, like, discipline and making a change, like, that's the chaos you don't want to be in at all. So that was a really big shift change for me as a new real estate agent. And I just feel like sharing this, like, if it resonates with you, I think that's really awesome. I know just the industry of real estate can be really scary to step into. And for me, it was a lot of, like, you don't know what you don't know. And once I started getting in there, moving, having conversations, having meetings, like, I know more now to where I feel comfortable actually hopping on a pod with you guys and giving my experience as a new real estate agent and breaking it down to what has helped me and where I'm at. So I just find those things really important, to be active in the office, to be organized. And alongside that, something I find really important is educate yourself. For me, I have an hour drive into the office. And so something that is really beneficial to me is not putting on music, but putting on a podcast. So I've been listening to Bigger Pockets podcast. That is Bigger Pockets podcast. It's phenomenal. It's like Joe Rogan, but real estate. And it's amazing. Like, I love I love Bigger Pockets podcast. They have conversations with people from all over the spectrum of real estate, from home flippers to wholesalers to hard money lenders to agents to brokerage owners. Anything, you name it, they're having conversations with people that are valuable. So just putting it on and listening and absorbing that information. And if there's something that sticks with you, write it down, repeat it, say it out loud, post about it. Post about it. Share it with your sphere, because your sphere wants to know that you are credible, you are marketable, you are up to date with the trends, you know what's going on, you're involved. Like, they want to know all these things. So another way for you to retain information is by teaching it. So my mom said this thing to me the other day. I'm like, whoa, like, because it completely changed my perspective on like how I want to have conversations and things. So you retain 20% of what you hear, 40% of what you, no, yeah, 20% of what you hear, 40% of what you read, 60% of what you write, and 80% of what you teach. Isn't that amazing? I love that. So like, just verbalizing something, sharing it with your audience, I think that's a really great way to grow your knowledge and retain information, because you're not going to stop learning in this industry, especially if you find different things that you're interested in over time. Like, there is so much to learn. It definitely can feel really overwhelming in the beginning. I know I felt overwhelmed. I was like just so many different systems, softwares, operations, getting dialed in with a schedule and a routine and organized, and a lot of lifestyle changes. And it's a lot to process, especially for somebody that is not, I don't even know what type A or type B is, but I feel like the type A person is like the organized person. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if you're that type of person, like, you will, excel a little further in this, but you might struggle with something else. So we all have our different things that we are going to struggle with, but just having a good mentor you can rely and lean on. Continuing to just let real estate be in your ear, whether it's a podcast, it's an audiobook, it's conversations with people in your sphere, it's something you're reading, just constantly keeping it at the forefront of your mind. I think that's really important. Keeping yourself educated on vocabulary. Vocabulary is huge. When you're working with a high-end luxury client or any client period, and you're trying to score your first client, you want to know what you're talking about. So role play. Practice with a friend. Sit down and have a buyer broker agreement with your friend. Like, you're going to get them to sign a contract to hire you, why they should hire you, what they're signing, all the freaking details, and just role play it and get feedback. And I know it's so scary and weird. You're like, obviously, it's weird. But it's your friends, so allow that to be a little bit more comforting for you. And if you can't hear them verbalize their feedback, have them write it down and then go read it for yourself and then work on it. Practice, and just familiarizing yourself with conversations. So a lot of these things were just new for me when becoming a new real estate agent, and I'm still a new real estate agent. Y'all, I've only been in this for 3 months. I'm very, very, very new. But at my 90-day stage, these are the things and shifts and changes that I am learning and going through. And genuinely, this has changed my life as a person. I have the mindset to keep moving, keep going, keep getting better. And one thing I've always wanted to achieve is to become a more disciplined person. And so I've really held myself to a standard this year. I've never made a vision board. I made a vision board for this year. And so what I wrote down is in my bedroom, where my boyfriend and I see it every day. So he sees it, I see it. And that right there is like, hey, you got to achieve these goals. Are you going to do it? And then I broke achieving those goals down to monthly goals. And so the month of January, I hit my marks. I hit all of my marks except, routine, morning routine, evening routine, but I got 50% better. I am now waking up early where I want to be, like, good, getting up early and not just being so tired. Like, it's awesome. And I think just having a career like that, where you're like, the success is so dependent on you. Being a successful real estate agent is so dependent on you, because you are in charge of your success rate. You are in charge of getting your clients. You are in charge of closing deals. You are in charge of these conversations. You are in charge of moving the needle. Nobody is going to do it for you. Great, there's lead gens, but okay, you got to call them. You got to have a conversation with them. You got to understand their needs, their wants. You have to get them to sign a buyer broker agreement. You guys need to go through these conversations before you even start the hiring process of you. And it's just like, it's a lot. So therefore, to be successful, you also need to pour a lot into yourself. And if you do not pour into yourself, well, you're likely not to deliver. It's just point blank. And so it's really important to create a disciplined schedule for yourself. And I would love to touch on the fact of discipline in another episode, as wow, like, just 30 days of discipline has changed my life. It has changed my life visually. I'm seeing it visually change my life. I feel so much better. I look so much better. I move so much better. I speak so much better. I do so much better. Like everything is genuinely getting better. And I just think that is phenomenal when all it takes is a little bit of headstrong discipline and understanding that if I want to get somewhere, it's going to require me to do these things that I haven't always been had to do, but now I'm in a different path. And if I want to do them, I need to do them. And this is what I'm going to have to do. This is what it's going to take. Like no more excuses, no more shortcuts. Like this is what we're going to have to do. And so just really holding yourself to that standard. And if you struggle to hold yourself to that standard, which me getting up early, I can talk myself out of getting up early and sleeping in. Heck yeah, I can. I could sure do that. And so what I did is I love people. I love community. And I have a goal of hiking 10 miles every week and then strength training. And so I put it out on my Instagram story. Hey, does anybody want to do 2 times a week hike and 3 times a week strength training with me? And I have people that are interested. And so guess what? Somebody else is dedicated to coming there. So who needs to show up? I do. That holds me a lot more accountable. And so that has really helped me get out of bed and continue to get out of bed, because I know on those days that if I needed to go by myself, I bet I could have talked myself out of it. I bet I could have just stayed right where I was. So just understanding where you might struggle and know that it's not a bad thing, and figuring out ways to help yourself to get there. Like I understand my weakness is I can press my snooze button. Okay, I could do that, but I don't want to. And I want to be disciplined and I want to get on the habit of waking up early, but it's not super easy. Like I need to, I want to get on the habit of waking up at 6. So I started at 7, then at 6:30. Now I'm getting up at 6 a lot more consistently. And what else did I do? I had somebody else commit to this with me, or I didn't have them, they volunteered, which I'm so thankful they did. But I put it out there to the public to see if anybody would want to commit with me. Because I knew it would hold me accountable. So just identifying those weaknesses and figuring out how you can produce solutions for them. And knowing that the weakness is not a bad thing. It's something that you're going to get better at, but it's going to require discipline. It's going to require time. And I think it's just really important to discipline yourself and make sure that you know what you want to do and the steps on how you need to get there. So yeah, this is a lot of my journey of just being a new real estate agent. Another thing that has really helped me is I have a background in social media. So I've continued just to show up on social media. I will say in the beginning, I really struggled on how I wanted to present and show up myself on social media as a real estate agent. I've been a Western fashion influencer. I've just been posting as myself, but now I have a career that I want people to look to me as an expert, respectable, quality, credible, a lot more things. And there's a lot more like legal aspects and knowledge that goes into this versus just knowing how to style an outfit. So it was very important to me, and I really just racked my brain. In the beginning, I was like, well, I don't want to have 2 pages. So I just started posting on my personal. I was like, well, I post on my personal every single day. I'm posting like at least 20 to 25 days a month. And I'm like, I just feel like my real estate content will get too diluted with my personal content. So what I did is I went ahead and took my old Instagram and turned it into my real estate page and made that solely real estate. But I did collaborative posts with my personal page. So that way my personal people who know me and are actively following can also keep up with my real estate journey. But anybody who is specifically coming to me for real estate and only wants to know real estate about me can get all of the real estate tidbits from my real estate Instagram. And I can do this because I'm disciplined enough to be able to manage and keep up with 2 accounts. If posting every day is not something you're familiar with, then I recommend just starting out with one. But for me, it's something I've done for 5 years, so it's really easy for me to be able to manage and keep up with 2 accounts. So I have one real estate page that is solely, just me. And I scrolled through the internet and watched other realtors and saw what they were posting, because I never really kept up with real estate content. Why would I? It's not the field that I was in. It's not anything that I was paying attention to. And so I really started paying attention to realtors that were posting on Instagram and just seeing how they were posting, what they were doing, what their hooks liked, what their position looked like, and kind of started to slowly find things that inspired me. And so I would do my best to make my version of what inspired me. And it took a little bit. I would watch stuff back. I'm like, that's not me. That's not me. It's like, no, but I want this, but that's not me. So it's taken me a little bit to find my groove and find out how I want to show up on social media. And you guys want to know how I want to show up? Myself, 100%. I don't want to try and to pretend anything that I'm not. I want to be fully authentic. I also want to share personal stuff on the real estate page, but in my real estate videos, I want to be the goofy, silly, educated, confident me that I am, and I want to come through authentically, and I want people to be drawn to me because something that somebody told me, and I think it is such valuable advice, is people buy people. And when somebody said that to me, I was like, wow, like that is such a simplistic way of putting persona, authenticity, and relationships in the service business. Like people buy people. Like at the end of the day, you can have, you and another realtor can both offer the same exact thing, but they're going to be drawn to the person that they connect with more, and that's who they're going to choose. So people buy people. So understanding who you are, how you want to present yourself, and what client you want to attract by being yourself, and not trying to frame yourself in any way to be perceived in any way other than yourself. You will find a lot more satisfaction and gratification when you show up as yourself online, even in something like your real estate business. So I just think it's really important to create the content that you like to watch, and the create that, you know, feels authentic and real to you. So it comes naturally. When you're doing something that is authentic to who you are, it comes off naturally. It doesn't come off like you're trying, and people are able to connect with you. And that's exactly what you want. This is a people business. Real estate is a people business. So it is so important just to show up as yourself. So all of these things together have really helped me in the first 3 months of my real estate journey, and just identifying what is no longer going to serve me and making the adjustment, making the change, and understanding that just because I stepped into a new career, I do not have to put on different pants. I do not have to be anything I'm not. I can show up as myself, authentically as myself, because people buy people, and I'm in the people business and where I serve people, and I want to serve people authentically as me. So I think those are really, really, really important things. And as time goes on, you will be faced with challenges. Just like in anything, obviously there's a lot more challenges that comes with this industry, but just keep moving forward, keep believing in yourself, keep having your faith in God, and keep moving forward. So I love chatting with you guys. I really enjoyed this little fun episode. Let me know if there's anything else you guys want me to touch base on. Yeah, great. Y'all have a good day.